Welcome back to Coffee with a Kick Summer 2024 edition. I had a little brain fart there. We are now down to the finals of both of these tournaments. About to hit our lull before Olympics start back up. We'll see if we cover that. We probably will, because I don't know what else we're going to talk about, or if we will. But before we get to any of that stuff, I think we've got something more important to talk about here, which is, of course, that Greg Berhalter has officially gotten axed from the U.S. men's national team, as we requested. So I'm glad that they watched the show. Glad that they're up on what we're requesting from them. Greg Berhalter is gone, which opens up an opportunity for the men's national team to bring in somebody good, we'll say, to build us up to our automatic bid for our own hosted World Cup in 2026, right? No, 2020.
Yep.
Yeah, 2026. 2028 is the next Olympics. That's in Los Angeles. That's what I was thinking of. But yeah, we've got great build up to there. So, I mean, first off, soft golf clap, because I don't want to blow out my microphone here. Glad to see it happen. It needed to happen. I mean, we got bounced before in the group stage. I mean, that's about it.
Yeah. You know, I personally was of the opinion that we should not have rehired him last summer.
True.
But, you know, the powers that be thought that he was doing well. It's still really hard to see a guy like Jesse Marsh, who we were gunning for and people wanted. And now Canada has a chance in the third place match. I mean, they've already gone further than us, and they look like a better team than us. But it'll be interesting because apparently Jurgen Klopp was contacted and was not interested. So there goes the top candidate. So we'll see. There's been the LAFC coach, Steve Cherundolo.
Yeah.
He's been talked about. I don't know what he's like as a manager or as a coach, but I would love to see a big name come in. Just throw some money at him. But
we've got Jurgi Lowe. He's available. We've got Mauricio Pochettino. He's available. So,
I don't know if I want Jurgi Lowe simply for the memes. I don't know if I would like. Like him on as our manager. But hey, he did some stuff with Germany, so.
Yeah, I'm just talking about splash names here. You know, something different than Steve Cherundolo.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what it'll be like, but Berhalter's out, and I'm excited to see. I don't know. It felt like Berhalter was a step back from Klinsmann, if I'm going to be honest, because Klinsmann was so good at finding that international talent and developing talent.
Those dual
Berhalter almost
boys.
felt like he felt like a caretaker manager for so long, and I think getting a real tactician in there who has been at the big stage, who's been in these big situations, will be what we need to take that next step.
Well, I certainly hope so. Especially, I don't want to be embarrassed when we're hosting our own World Cup in the expanded World Cup. I should look into that.
Yeah, the easiest World Cup probably ever.
Yeah.
If we don't make it out of the group stage, then we might stop playing soccer altogether.
I'm not going to put that on the table because we might get bounced in the group stage. So I don't want.
That's what I'm saying.
I don't want to have that on the record. Okay. I'd rather just keep playing soccer, even if we are embarrassing. At least it's like, you know, it's a little bit of dose of humility that we need every now and then. It's always good to be humble in some respects. But we'll move on from that to the impetus for that conversation, which is, of course, the Copa America. We just wrapped up the 2 semifinals over these past couple days. First one was Argentina, Canada. We both got that one correct because Argentina is a significantly better team than Canada, if you can imagine that much.
Yeah, I was shocked with the way Argentina set up. I mean, they clearly dominated the match, but there at the end, Canada really had some good chances.
Canada was pressing hard.
Point blank headers. So I was shocked. There were a few officiating decisions that I felt like didn't go Canada's way. But, I mean, they were not for lack of chances. I mean, they had 4 there in the final 20 minutes go just wide of either side of the post. But I thought they played better than I thought.
And one with a great save there in the 89th minute. I mean, he got unzipped, Canada got unzipped in the 23rd minute with a great touch there by Julian Alvarez. I mean, not much you can do about that. The surface was not great. I mean, it was very slick out there. And that played to Argentina's advantage. And then Messi's goal was just a weird one. You don't normally see Messi poaching goals, but I guess he just put it on the score sheet there. And, he got himself on it. But, yeah, it was not much fanfare in that one. Then we go to the other match here, Colombia and Uruguay. A match, I don't know if it may have been a boxing match. I mean, this thing was a war out there that extended, of course, as everybody already knows at this point, beyond the end of the match itself. But, I mean, it was rough and tumble the whole way through. I mean, they were chucking bodies everywhere.
Yeah, if you don't know, Sanders reference, the Uruguayan players found themselves in the crowd, supposedly because Colombian fans were attacking the Uruguayan players' families. So
that's the story.
It was a boxing match on and off the pitch. But yeah, I felt like Uruguay was handed the opportunity to really take this. Mm-hmm. And right before the break, because Colombia player gets a yellow card, not 2 minutes later, elbows a guy. And then he ends up getting a double yellow. And Uruguay, they just could not push through.
It could have been a straight, even if you hadn't had a yellow, they had an argument for a straight red. Because it was pretty similar to how Weah got sent off, right?
Mm-hmm.
Tim Weah got sent off in our match against Panama. And that was a retaliation to somebody else's instigation. But he was already on a yellow, so it made the decision pretty easy for the center ref. Like, you just give this guy another yellow, send him off, because it was very deserved. A lot of deserved yellows in this one. Yeah, I mean, I think Uruguay had their chances, but, it comes down to 39th minute. I don't know how you let that guy win the header on the back end of there. In the 39th minute, you've got two Uruguayan defenders in front of him. They totally mistime their jumps. Allow him to basically get a free header on the back post on the corner kick, and he puts it straight in. And then you squander chances in between. Luis Suarez almost gets one there in the 72nd minute, puts it just on the wrong side. Just the wrong side of the upright there. And then Colombia, coming down to the end of it, misses 3, 4, 5 chances to actually ice the match. That should have gone in. I mean, there was one where he had to pick one side or the other of the goal and decided to kick it right at the goalkeeper. Another one where they just missed wide. I mean, it could have been much less exciting. It could have made it much less exciting than it ended up being.
Yeah, I feel for my own pick because I thought Uruguay would be the team to advance. Yeah, they really ought to have. Like, you literally have the chance. 10 men, an entire half.
An entire half.
And really, some of their chances, they just looked tired. Mm-hmm. Some of their chances were good, but they were just dragged wide, shot way over the top. They got impatient. So, yeah, it was tough to see.
Part of the problem was it was just Darwin Nunez, and that's just kind of how he plays soccer these days, is that he pulls things wide.
Yeah, Nunez did not help himself in this match. But, yeah, I feel like they were very impatient with with some of their crosses. I felt like they would have 3, 4, 5 guys in the box, and then they would either kick it really far over, or they just wouldn't put themselves in a position to get a good cross in. So they kind of, they shot themselves in the foot.
Yep. Shot themselves in the foot and didn't put any on goal. So, they put some on goal, but not enough. Not enough to make a difference. So now we're set up for, we'll just go ahead and make our predictions here. We've got Uruguay and Canada in the third place match. I don't know. Have you seen how many of those Uruguayans who went into the stands have been banned from the next match? Have any of them? Have we seen any?
I think it was under investigation. I haven't, as of right now, seen any suspensions because of the fact that they were protecting their family members. I think CONMEBOL may give them some leeway there. I do know that the one dude got a 90+8 red card, so he'll be suspended. I think the right back for Uruguay is still suspended for this next match. So they'll be without key guys no matter what. So Canada's got a real shot, and just the emotion behind Uruguay's ending of that match, I think that is really going to catch up with them. And I think Canada has a real shot to win this one.
What's your pick then?
Boy, my pick, I think I'm going to go 2-1 Canada. I think Canada takes the third place.
I mean, Davies did get dinged up there in the match against Argentina, which is a big piece for Canada. I think Darwin Nunez comes through in the match that doesn't matter. I think that Uruguay actually takes it opposite of what you're saying, 2-1. And Canada, being in the third place match for Canada is already winning third place. I mean, they did not anticipate being here at all. So this is a good result for them, and they could pull it out, especially with the people missing from Uruguay. But it'll still be tough. And then for the first place match, for the trophy and all the marbles, I think this is like Colombia has been undefeated for quite a while as well, right? Don't we have 2 really long stretches coming up here for Argentina and Colombia?
Argentina broke the record at 36, and I believe they've been unbeaten in 46 of their last 47, something like that. And then Colombia's been unbeaten for 28 straight.
Yeah. Wow.
So both teams who have been hot for the last 3 to 4 years.
Peak positions, but Colombia is missing one of their starters for that red card. In the I think he was a defensive mid. So that's not a place where you want to be missing somebody against Argentina, especially centrally. So I think Argentina takes the first place one. I think they take it 2-1. We'll see if it's as Argentina isn't trying to hurt you as much. So I don't know. I don't know if it'll be as rough and tumble as the semifinal match. But I think the Argentina will. I think the Messis will take it at least one more time before he's going to continue with the international side for a little while longer. So we'll see. We'll see if this is his last trophy or not.
Yeah, I mean, we all thought the World Cup was going to be the swan song. It felt like it ought to have been, but here he is in the Copa. Most likely, I believe he's going to win the trophy. I bet Messi plays in the next World Cup if they continue to be this good. Colombia is good. I think that Uruguay exposed them for their inability to really keep their cool, but also their inability to be a team when their playmakers are taken out of it. Like Uruguay, especially near the end of the first half, especially in the second half, maybe it had to do with the 10 men, but they really took James Rodriguez out of it. Luis Diaz really didn't do much in the first or second half. I think Argentina's a better team. They're better coached, and I think they'll win 2-0. I think they'll go another 2-0 match.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm really secure it. Yeah, if Messi wanted to go out like at the peak, at the top, right? You definitely go out with the World Cup. This is starting to feel more like he's willing to fade gracefully into the background rather than just like cutting it off at the peak. Because if he sticks around for the next World Cup, he'll probably be. I don't think he'll start. I mean, he'll be what 30? Will he be 36 by the time? Is that right? 35, 36?
36 or 37, yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, he'll probably be a super sub. So like a lot of the German guys end up being like Thomas Muller playing for Germany national team for forever and a day, and just still gets on in like the 80th minute when they need a goal to help them spread things out. But I don't.
I would disagree with you there. I think it's really hard. Even a 40-year-old Messi, I think, would be starting in this Argentina team.
All right. I mean, he could. I mean, he's playing in a less strenuous league. He basically gets to kick around and have fun. For Miami, they don't care if he plays or not. He's like, I've got muscle soreness, and they'll sit him. I'm like, whoa, whatever, Messi, it's all right. So he can sort of save himself up for that. So we'll see. I'm not going to put any money on it either way, is what I'm going to say to that. But then we'll move to cross that pond, get over to Germany, where we had España and France going head to head in that first of them. This one was a first half affair, I'll tell you that much, and really the first half hour affair. With Spain going up 1-0 with Colomwani 9th-minute goal. Spain did miss a chance early on in the 5th minute that really, it was a free header that should have been better done. But it was a defensive lapse by Spain there that let the first goal in. And then 21st minute, Yamal, this is the Wunderkind, right? To use a German phrase, the 16-year-old youngest ever to score in the European Championship. Is that right?
At least at this stage, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, fantastic hit. I mean, there's no notes, you know? I mean, I have a note for it, but no notes. It was a great hit, and the goalkeeper went the right way. He just beat him outright. There's nothing else to say other than fantastic strike, and it'll be up there for goal of the tournament, especially this one has the added importance of the situation in which it occurred, you know? So that'll definitely bump it up in the rankings there. And then in the 25th minute, they followed up, bang, bang, go ahead in the 25th minute with, I mean, we talked about Julian Alvarez's first touch being good, but almost first touch over the shoulder, back to in front of him, inside the 18. That close control, buttery smooth. I mean, that was some nice stuff to place it in the back of the net there. And then from there, I mean, France didn't have a lot of great looks. Spain did a pretty good job of stifling it. I felt like they worked into it more. France had a free header there in the 63rd minute with Upamecano. I think I put a few too many syllables in there. But something along those lines. Had a free header on a corner kick and just totally missed it. Teo Hernandez should have had a better shot at it than he did in the 76th minute. And then in the 86th minute, Mbappe probably had a chance to go either direction on the goalkeeper, but instead decided to sky it instead, pull a straight-up Wondolowski almost in the 86th, when France could have drawn level.
Yeah, this game kind of went as I expected. I mean, the flurry early did not. The Koulibaly one I thought was kind of a cheeky goal because just before that he got fouled pretty hard, and it wasn't necessarily the cleanest of fouls, so him getting a header was kind of justice. But yeah, I mean, Yamal's goal, Mike Maignan, I think is the France goalie's name. I mean, he's full stretch.
Yeah. And
still can't get fingertips on it. And Yamal almost did the same thing in the second half as well. It just went a little bit outside the post. So, I mean, he is incredible, almost incredible. Spain, like I kind of mentioned, they look like a team that is a mix of young, is a mix of old, and they're ready to kind of bring back that Spain team that we have seen in the past. The team that can dominate possession, suffocate you, not give you a lot of chances. As we saw, I mean, France only had 3 shots on target.
Right.
And this was their first goal as a team in the tournament, outside of penalties.
Right.
But they just didn't play well enough. When I thought this was probably their strongest showing, Spain just really was able to smother the ball. Rodri, again, probably the player of the game. Even with the goals we saw, I feel like he just commanded the midfield to a point where there's nothing France could do in that middle of the park.
Yeah, it's a tough thing when you play your best game and it's just not good enough at the moment. I mean, it kind of speaks to the level of quality that France has displayed so far. But you're right. This was their best game, and it just wasn't enough because they were playing a better side that day. So that moves Spain through to the finals, and then over to the Netherlands and England. Speaking of a team playing their best game at the right time, only this time it was enough. England beats the Netherlands 2-1. Very similar in a way in that the Netherlands goes up early and England has a quick response, although theirs was a penalty kick. Well deserved, I think, for that foul on Harry Kane in the box. Good on him for staying in the match, because that was a tough lick he took there.
You know, it's one of those situations where a lot of the commentators felt like it could go either way, where the guy, he does get some of the ball. His foot is where Kane's foot is going. It's not like he necessarily stabs Kane's foot, but Kane kind of kicks into him. It could have gone either way. the Netherlands certainly thought that it should have gone their way. It was just called a penalty on the ref called the penalty during the match, and VAR was like, we're not going to get into it. You can have a look at it if you want, but it's not a clear and obvious error. And I feel like after that, the Dutch really did not get their mojo back.
Yeah.
I feel like they had a few good chances. I mean, Xavi Simons' goal in the 7th was, again, one of the other goals that could be a goal of the tournament. It was great.
Really weird knuckling laser falling down. Strange goal.
Yeah, it's one of those where if that happens in any other situation, the ball is probably going to end up out of the stadium. He kicks it so high. Yeah. This happened to go in the exact spot that he wanted to. But, I mean, the Dutch never got their mojo back. A couple of shots here and there. But the Ollie Watkins goal, that's inexcusable for the defender.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, keeps his legs open in the only angled shot that Ollie Watkins could get. Only angle he had. Opens his legs up. The goalie's not expecting a shot. He's expecting his defender to at least keep his legs closed, or he'll go near post. But it was a great off the cuff shot by Ollie Watkins because no one expected it. He puts it in far post and they win. It was a good finish, and he's a guy I feel like deserves that, especially after the season he had for Aston Villa.
Yeah, and I mean, it could have gone very different because Pickford had to come up with a huge save there in the 66th minute. The one time that the Netherlands was doing anything outside of Dumfries actually had a free header that he messed up in the 30th minute. But there are some strange substitutions though that Southgate made because he took off Phil Foden like the 80th minute when Phil had been basically the only guy doing anything for England since that first goal. He had 2 or 3 very good chances. That one was goal line clearance there. That was in the 32nd minute. No, that was in the 27th minute. And then in the 32nd minute, he just off the outside of the bar instead. But, when you sub off a guy and then you put on Ollie Watkins and he scores the the game-winning goal, all is forgiven as far as in-the-moment considerations, right?
Yeah, I feel like Southgate in previous matches has been told he makes really bad sub choices. This match, I think every single sub he made was a winner. Like, they just changed the game when they came into it. So it's always good to see a manager who has that kind of connotation for he's not a great subber to actually being actually getting one right.
So that leaves us with the third place game being France and the Netherlands. I think the Dutch come through here. I think this goes 2-1 to France, mainly because I want France to come into this tournament as the favorites and not get anything. I'm feeling vindictive towards the French right now. So I think they take it 2-1. I think Gakpo gets back up on the horse here. I think Gakpo gets one so that I don't seem so silly for calling him out in the last episode. And then, he disappeared a little bit in this England match.
Is there a third place game for the Euros?
Is there not? Oh, I was just picking one because I watched the race.
I don't see it. It'd be great if there was. It's not on my list, and I would have said the same thing as you.
Well, if there is, then we said the same thing.
Hypothetically, Netherlands would win if they were playing one.
But other than that, there's the final itself, which is England and the 2 E's if you're doing it in their
España.
Yeah, the three letter. I don't know what you would call it. The abbreviations, I suppose. España and England. Who do you think takes home the hardware here?
I predicted it last episode. I think I'm going to stick with it. Spain is playing way too well to not go home with the trophy.
Yeah.
England has, again, just scraped by.
Yeah.
This one, you really thought it was going to be like the third straight match they were going into extra time, maybe even penalties. I just think they've been scraping by. They've been getting lucky. They've been getting fortunate. And maybe that continues and they bring the trophy home like they always say. But I think Spain is just overall, they've been playing too well. They've been too consistent. And I think they're just going to be a better, well-rounded side. I can't see Spain not winning it. I think Spain will win it 3-1. I think they get a couple of goals early. England gets one back. Spain gets one at the end as a counter. But boy, it's hard to not pick the team that's been playing well, you know.
Yeah, I agree. I think Spain's the luck breaker in this one. France was skating by. They met Spain and got bounced. England's been skating by. They beat the Netherlands. I think that they won that match outright. But the Netherlands is not as good as Spain, and I think that Spain does. I think it's 2-0. I think that Spain has. I think Spain blanks them and puts in 2. I hope it's a more exciting match than that. Like, I think your scenario is much more hopeful, much more exciting, obviously, with 3 goals as opposed to 2. Sorry, 4 goals. 3-1 is 4 goals, if you can do math like that.
Quick math.
I can do addition. But that brings us to the end of Copa and the end of Euros. So we'll see how that comes around. We'll have an episode early next week for that, and by that point we'll have decided what we're doing about. We'll have a little bit of a gap here because I don't think the Olympics start until later in August. Is that right? I haven't looked that far ahead.
Yeah, I think the soccer of it is one of the first things that happens in late July.
July. So we'll probably have a week, maybe 10 days without an episode while we do our research for the Olympic soccer tournament, and then we'll be back. In the meantime, do you have anything else you want to say before we go?
No, I'm excited for these finals, and I'm happy that they're happening on the same day. Yeah. I'm glad that we get like an afternoon one and a night one as far as our timing concerns. And it just makes it more fun. It makes a nice, relaxing Sunday a little bit more enjoyable because this is a soccer podcast, but in America, Sundays are for American football. So I'm glad to see soccer taking over a Sunday and giving us a couple of finals.
You know, and here. That's what real good stuff. Well, until we get to the other side of Sunday. Wait, no. I may not do it that way because I say side twice. Until we get over there, why don't you go ahead and grab your coffee, watch some soccer, and we'll see you on the other side. Calais.